What's up, guys? Get your soldering iron and let's make some charms. I have some lead-free solder and I'm going to make a little wing charm today, but first I left this part in the video just so you could see how important it is to work on a level surface. Now I'm working on a silicone mat which is made for soldering, and you need to have obviously a fireproof, heat-proof surface. And I have a jump ring and just a blob of lead-free solder, and the first thing I'm doing here is I'm showing you how you can connect a blob of solder to a jump ring, but that solder is always going to be like a rounded circle. It's not a flat, it's never going to flatten out unless you are flattening it out with something. And the other problem of doing it this way is you see how the solder is creeping towards the center of that jump ring, almost engulfing the entire thing, which does happen, and I'll show you that as well. That's a problem too. That's why we usually make our soldered charms and then we put the jump ring on in the end. But I have a vulcanized rubber stamp, and that hot solder is going to get smushed down very gently. I'm going to hold it and I'm going to count to like 8, 9, 10, and the larger the size of the glob of solder you have, the longer you're going to want to hold it. And we're going to see what it makes, what shape it makes. And you can see I have that jump ring stayed in there pretty well. So you can stamp it, check it out. If you're not pleased with your design, you can stamp it again. When I'm stamping it, I am kind of guiding the solder beneath away from the open area of the jump ring, if that makes any sense, because you do not want to fill the jump ring with solder. So I'll just continually do this until I find the shape I'm pleased with, but watch what happens here. So here I am stamping it again, and watch very carefully. In a moment, I'm going to heat up a little bit more of that solder again, and bloop, it went right into my jump ring. My jump ring is in that glob of solder. Now to remove the jump ring, it's easy. You just hold the tip of your soldering iron on the glob, use your soldering pliers to grab the jump ring and pull it out. And you know, you want to make sure, like I said, that you're on that flat surface, because did you see that? That's what happens when you're not on a level surface. So I took a piece of wire, I bent it in half into a teardrop shape, and I am covering it with flux and then with solder, which is known as tinning, and that is going to be my little frame. So you saw how the balls of solder roll around on your work surface, and I used to work on a large wooden work surface for years and years before they even had silicone soldering mats. And like I said, I was a stained glass artist for many years, and I had a large wooden workbench. And now we have the silicone mats, but look how that slides around. So it is hard to do art with it, crafts with it. These mats are made for more of electronic soldering, but as you can see, I put my glob of solder in my little teardrop frame, pulled it through, heated it up, and again, I'm stamping it. I'm going to hold that stamp on there. Like I said, 8 to 10 seconds, maybe a little longer, and there's my impression, and I think it's really pretty. I'm happy with it. So now we can add our jump ring. So my jump ring is already coated with flux and with solder, which is what I would do before I attempt to solder it on, and I'm just going to hold it up to the area where I want it to be attached. And I'm going to add just a tiny little bit of solder and hold it there until they are joined together. Now that's a pretty big jump ring. I like them big like that for a charm. And I'm going to add a little bit more solder to the area where it meets the charm, so it's on there nice and sturdy, and also to give it like a little bit of a decorative drop. So I'll apply a little more flux, and I will again pick up a tiny bit more solder and apply it to that same spot until I'm happy with it. So you know, like I said, if there's any area you want to redo, you can just heat up that area and stamp it with your rubber stamp again. And that's my charm. So I'm going to go over the jump ring, as you saw, really quickly. I want to make sure everything is nice and coated, because I'm going to give this a patina. And when you give it a patina, everything must be coated with solder. So I used a silver plated jump ring, and I used copper wire for my teardrop shape. And now I'm going to add that little decorative drop right at the spot where the jump ring meets the charm. And I'm going to build it up and just put a little bit and then a little bit more until I'm happy with the size. And that is our charm. And it's a little wing. Now you can make any kind of shape that you like. I will do more videos in the future with more of this style of soldering. And there's a close-up. and you can see the front and there's the back. It's not very clear there, but you can see the back has a little bit of a texture. And then I wash it and I have a black patina, which is what that is. And unfortunately, I turned off my camera and I missed applying the patina, but that is what it looks like once it has the patina. And once it's clean and dry, I'm going to buff it with steel wool and remove the black patina from all of the raised surfaces, and that black patina is going to remain in the recessed areas, and it's going to give it that great vintage silver effect. And you can buff it just a little bit to have more of a darker finish, or you can buff it a whole lot for like a bright shiny finish with just like a little touch of that black into, like I said, in the crevices. And that is what I did. And once I'm happy with the buffing, I'm just going to take a soft cloth and I'm going to just buff it up and give it a little bit of a shine, and that's it. All you have to do is add a chain. You can add this to a bracelet, you can put it on a necklace, you can make zipper pulls, you can turn it into a keychain. There's so many fun things you can do with these, and I'll be back soon with a new video for you. So I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I will be back very soon with a brand new soft soldering video for you. Bye guys!